Oh, look at that, an alert. I'm probably trending already.
The running joke about Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Captain Holt is that he's a robot.
Meet Morpsey. Robot Captain, engage.
Is that what you think?
And the humor of Andre Braugher's comic performance comes from the way he holds back.
I am in incredible pain.
He's not comfortable pouring out his emotions or bearing his soul on social media.
What's your handle? I'll be your first follower.
It's at 526-1796-D6E6-20486-F6C74.
But over time, it's clear that Raymond Holt's poised discipline doesn't come from being a callous machine, but from a heart that's exceptionally sensitive, deep, and refined. You could argue Holt is the most feeling character on the show.
What? My account has been deactivated.
Twitter thinks you're a bot.
Why? I'm a human. I'm a human male.
Today's American culture takes it for granted that it's good to express and bad to repress ourselves. Yet what makes Holt so impactful in the lives of the people around him has more to do with how he models restraint.
I'm sorry you had to witness such a vicious fight.
Oh, was that a fight?
Are you kidding? He said you'll have to excuse me instead of please excuse me. Might as well have spit in my face.
He thinks about how to love intelligently. Holt is a great leader and father figure because he understands how to translate affection into action that helps his team do and be their best.
You are a professional dancer because I'm paying Dancy Reagan to perform 2 shows at our at-risk youth program.
You just made me the happiest, prettiest, most talented girl in the world.
So instead of rushing to perform our emotions or letting them overwhelm our rational minds, we might do better to follow Captain Holt's example and practice analytical love.
The statistical analysis. It's so beautiful.
This video is brought to you by NordVPN. Protect your information with the only virtual private network to get a perfect score from PC Mag. Right now, they're offering a limited time deal to our viewers. Click the link in the description below, nordvpn.com/thetake, to get 70% off a 3-year plan, and enter the code THETAKE to get an extra month of NordVPN for free. There's a lot of emphasis in our culture on airing our inner passions and opinions.
I just have a lot of feelings.
But making a public song and dance about your feelings doesn't change the situation they arose from, nor does empathy alone actually help anyone. Captain Holt proves that we shouldn't be so quick to equate real feeling with the conventional means of giving voice to it. Sometimes the more one feels, the more subtly one shows it.
Fine, I'll say I'm sorry.
No, be sincere. Like this. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Good, that's the one.
Holt filters his love through an incredibly sharp, systematic mind.
Are you familiar with the story of Moneyball? A man uses statistics and logic to win several baseball games. It's my favorite film.
To begin with, he sees each person on his team clearly and accepts how they are. He approaches mentoring them with the dry, uncluttered thought you might bring to a math problem.
You have a pathological need to be liked. You were right. Terry loves to be loved.
The result is a strikingly different technique for how to motivate each employee, based on diagnosing their strengths, weaknesses, needs, and what they respond to.
I know you may not see yourself as my mentor, but
Of course I do. I've been mentoring you all this time.
He coaches Amy with the intense attention to detail, structure, and hyper-organization that drives her.
it was real. There was a binder.
He helps Rosa learn to be more vulnerable by working on this himself with her.
We're both great at this.
Holt demonstrates that it's far more effective to adjust one's leadership style to fit people as they are, instead of fighting against their nature. When he asks Boyle to play squash, Boyle worries about revealing his competitive side. But of course, Holt asked him because he was aware Boyle would act like a competitive nutcase.
Squash's unhinged lunatic. I need him on my team.
Thanks to the extensive rational thought he applies to everything, Holt is always a step ahead.
Be warned. I started planning next year's heist just this minute.
Good. Then you're only 3 months behind.
And his reliance on analysis means he's completely aware of what he's doing and able to pass on these techniques with rare clarity. He can even instruct Amy on how to manage another Amy.
You see, managing Amy is not a chore, it's a pleasure, because an Amy is a tool.
I'm a tool?
Yes, you're a massive tool. You're useful and valuable.
To teach someone effectively, you have to figure out how to speak their language.
We should take the chopper.
Use that chopper.
Deathblade, Sidewinder, it's go time.
He proves the truism that a great teacher learns from his students. He lets Boyle instruct him in yoga and food appreciation.
Now describe what you taste.
Cheese.
He gets an introduction to mainstream pop culture from Gina.
Miranda could have had Blair Underwood, but she settles for Steve.
Oh, but you do get it, sir.
He absorbs the best aspects of each pupil's personality, because this is just a smart thing to do. Plus, flipping the script and letting the trainee take the lead is yet another sneaky way to teach them, as they get to practice confidence and grow into leaders themselves.
Well, well, well. It appears the student has become the teacher.
Part of what makes Holt's intelligence and attitude so impressive, not to mention funny, is that he's a sponge soaking up foreign information.
I can be such a Samantha.
He listens and acknowledges when he's wrong.
I should have been open to criticism, as this department should be open to criticism.
Because this is rational behavior and an important part of continuing to improve oneself. When Terry voices his resolve to file the complaint against the bigoted police officer, Holt rethinks his long-standing views on a world that's changing.
As a black gay man, I never had a superior who was on my side. So the advice I offered you, that came from a different place, a different time.
So in this character, we see the virtues of letting your reason moderate or overrule instinctive emotional reactions to challenges.
If Rosa were to jump off a cliff, she would have done her due diligence regarding the height of the cliff, the depth of the water, and the angle of entry. So yes, if you see Rosa jump off a cliff, by all means, jump off a cliff.
The fruits of Holt's analytical love are nowhere more apparent than in the show's protagonist, Jake Peralta. At the start of the series, Jake is kind of a jerk.
I appreciate the offer, but I work best alone.
He has the seed of the person that we all love, but he's been brainwashed by classic cop shows and movies into acting like an obnoxious macho loner.
You want to be the best. We all do. You just don't have to be such a butthead about it.
Then, in walks Captain Holt. He's set up in the first season as Jake's antagonist, getting in the way of Jake's mojo and his fun.
Here are 3 cases with sloppy paperwork. Here are 2 pictures. One is your locker, the other is a garbage dump in the Philippines.
That one's the dump.
They're both your locker.
Yet it becomes apparent that the new commanding officer is giving Jake a hard time not to hurt the kid, but to help him.
I put away bad guys, that's what matters.
Well, so does doing your paperwork, showing up on time, wearing proper footwear.
He sees Jake's potential, as well as what's holding him back, and synthesizes this raw material into a sophisticated vision for guiding him to become a remarkably better detective and human being.
While you were out being tardy, I was hard at work devising a special punishment. I've crafted an intricate, personal high five with everyone in this office except you.
What?
He constructs complex lessons tailored around Jake's weaknesses, like making his pupil respect that he's part of a team through imposing a dress code.
Captain, I just figured it out. We're a team, and the tie is a part of that team's uniform, right?
And it's not an overstatement to say the enlightened, well-adjusted, happy family man of later seasons wouldn't exist without Holt. The Holt-Jake relationship also illustrates what tough love looks like.
When you show me that you can do your job, every part of your job perfectly, then I'll back off.
This comes through in the second episode when Holt pressures Jake not to let a higher-up, spoiled kid off the hook.
I feel bad for this kid. I mean, what kind of father cares so little for his son that he lets him get away with everything?
And the implication is that Holt is the father who does care enough to challenge Jake for his own good. Tough love, famously, isn't easy to dole out because it doesn't feel that good. It's painful to make someone you love think you're being hard on them. But Holt's tough love is calculated, smart, and effective. It's part of a bigger plan, which will be revealed to the mentee in due time.
This is day 1,282 of a 9-year mentorship I had mapped out for you. Under ordinary circumstances, I wouldn't reveal this to you until day 3,300.
All of this demonstrates that to actually help people you care about, you need unsentimental love and a clear, rational mind.
I followed you because you're great and because you make everything you touch better.
No, I said millimeters.
Raymond is a model of grace, poise, and sophistication.
Not sure Barbara Streisand counts as a rock star, sir.
She sings in English. That's rock music.
The epitome of correctness, he's the kind of person who considers it a grave error to misplace a semicolon,
You think that semicolon was a mistake? No, it was a juicy piece of bait.
split an infinitive.
You want to hear the funniest thing ever? I also split an infinitive, and she didn't notice.
Or dangle a preposition.
A concept you should become familiar with.
A dangling preposition?
I'm setting an example.
His tell in poker is using contractions.
I've never heard you use a double contraction before.
And you never will again. I was at rock bottom.
His tastes appear to suggest a preference for lack of flavor.
If it were feasible, my diet would consist entirely of flavorless beige smoothies containing all the nutrients required by the human animal.
But while his ascetic approach to food is the opposite of Jake's fun-filled sugar frenzy, eschewing easy, short-lived indulgences is good practice in delaying satisfaction and frees up his mind and attention for finer pleasures.
In the hands of an expert like Yoram Leifgrum, the passion is breathtaking.
As a model of excellence, Holt leads by example, inspiring others to rise to his level.
It should take 70 seconds for you to fully gauge someone's character.
His philosophy is that we owe it to ourselves to be our best selves, just as we owe it to the people we love to help them be their best.
Is that how you plan on sitting? Leaning back like a matinee goer?
The show offers a number of explanations for how this character became the refined button-up robot.
Is this little Raymond's macaroni art?
No, that's a macaroni infographic he made about educational spending during the Johnson administration.
His mother's equally controlled demeanor suggests he learned to hold back from childhood.
That was humor, Mother.
I know, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love laughing and laughter.
Yes, we all do, but enough chit-chat.
Meanwhile, he's turned off by his sister's opposite approach of selfishly unloading her messy emotions onto others.
I mean, can you even, Raymond?
I cannot even.
So he appears to have internalized this model for keeping it all in and reacted against the cautionary tale of letting it all out. As a professional, Holt has been formed by a career as a gay black man in the police force. Holt felt that he had to be perfect to avoid any weaknesses that could be used against him.
Because he's gay, Raymond has been put through hell by his colleagues, many of whom, quite frankly, look exactly like you.
To this day, part of what makes Holt appear like a robot is his hyper-perfectionism.
Nice to meet you.
And John Erblin has just been fired.
What?
I have?
Meet ya? You just abbreviated a one-syllable word. Now, clean out your desks. I removed the K so you'd understand how absurd ya sound.
So the deepest explanation for Holt's persona is that it's been a conscious, long-term process of self-control. He appears like this cool robot because he has so much feeling that he's trained himself over the years to rein in.
I've never been more shocked.
One reason Holt pushes Jake so hard seems to be that once upon a time, Holt was a lot like Peralta. Flashbacks of him pursuing a legendary criminal tell us he used to be a brash young detective.
While you're in there, I'm gonna go for a swim.
Wow. I think I really would have gotten along with young Ray Holt.
Yes, that's why I decided to change everything about my life.
We see a powerful wildness in him. Underneath the rigid self-management, there's a volcano ready to blow.
I know we live in a world where anything can mean anything, and nobody even cares about etymology. Apparently that's a trigger for me.
Yeah.
One of the joys of watching Holt is trying to decipher the imperceptible shifts in his behavior to find clues of the vast ocean of feeling hidden underneath.
Wait. Before you say anything, I want to guess what happened based on your face. Someone died. No. You want a prize!
Generally, his team members attempt this to no avail.
Guy's impossible to read. Don't even try.
That is without question the funniest story I've ever heard.
But it's satisfying to watch Ray with his husband Kevin,
PDA in the office? My.
Couldn't help myself.
as both are such finely calibrated people that they can read each other's emotional states in the subtlest of expressions that are invisible to anyone else.
He'd never sit in just any section.
I might.
You'd sit center left? In Timpani Alley? I'll purchase those tickets right away.
No, don't.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's precinct seems like the most fun place to work ever. That's largely because it's like hanging out with a bunch of stand-up comics mixed with lighthearted, throwback cop show shenanigans. But the other reason it seems like a great place to work is because of how much these detectives love their jobs. Even more than being obsessed with him, Holt's employees are obsessed with the 9-9.
9-9!
Yeah! We see how passionately they fight to keep it going every time their precinct is threatened. And this is the mark of a truly great leader. He doesn't just inspire faith in himself, but also in the work. Holt has a firm vision of what police should be in the community.
He's already released a memo detailing his vigilant policing initiative. It's essentially a return to stop and frisk. Choosing him is a betrayal of everything I stand for.
And yet again, his analytical mind comes in handy to clearly express that vision. So his team is unified in their understanding of what they're doing and how much it matters.
Look, this is a hard fight, but it's an important one. But you got the guy who assaulted her.
This team is full of workaholics with little separation between their personal and professional lives.
I have not slept in since I last saw you many hours. Plus, I think I'm hallucinating because I'm pretty sure I just heard your biceps mocking me.
Yet they never seem burnt out or resentful of the long hours.
Rise and shine, detectives, rise and shine.
How long were we asleep? Just long enough for me to squeeze in a quick workout. So like 3 hours.
This job is their life. And this is the rare example where that's not a bad thing, because the work gives them both big picture purpose and day-to-day fun. Holt's composed presence hides the fact that he can be a radical.
Listen, Kelly, I'm going to do that interview and you can't stop me. So go ahead. Cut our budget, close more of the building, open other fake IA investigations into my detectives.
He may believe firmly in the value of police work, but he also believes in reforming the police force from within, boldly tackling its inefficiencies and corruption, and making the world at large more inclusive.
Every time someone steps up and says who they are, the world becomes a better, more interesting place.
His values translate into a workplace setting where his employees feel safe and comfortable. When Holt first takes his post, Jake longs for their last CO who let him do whatever he wanted. But Amy admits that this anything-goes cowboy environment didn't make her feel good.
It's crazy how different things were when McGintley was captain. It's like the Wild West.
Oh yeah, we had some fun.
I didn't.
She internalizes this as her problem, thinking it indicates she's too uptight. But what her discomfort really shows is that she was stifled by a toxic, macho environment. When you don't have a supervisor who takes care to look after everyone on the team, marginalized people suffer.
I put all my energy towards rising to a rank where I can make a difference.
Over the years, Holt may have taken self-control a little too far. To a degree, Holt's evolution on the series is about letting more of the freewheeling human back out.
Marshmallow.
He may be helping Jake grow up, but Peralta's boyish games help him loosen up and experience new levels of fun.
I can't wait to go home and tell Kevin you can have fun without being productive.
Still, if he let go too much, he wouldn't be Holt. Being bottled up is a key part of what makes him such a hilarious and amazing person, boss, and surrogate father. So just like his 9-9 team, we can all benefit from the wisdom in his tough, visionary excellence. To be the best possible versions of ourselves, we can channel our inner robot.
You don't seem very excited.
Oh, I was just adhering to Section 7, page 145, no emotional displays in the workplace.
Excellent. I taught you well.
This video is brought to you by NordVPN. We all know privacy is important, but every time you use public Wi-Fi networks, your information is vulnerable to hackers and prying eyes. That's why you need to invest in a VPN, or virtual private network, and NordVPN is the best. They have military-grade encryption to protect your anonymity online and won't log your data. Plus, their ultra-fast servers let you stream your favorite shows without ever being slowed down. With just one account, you can connect up to 6 devices simultaneously. Right now, they're offering a special deal to our viewers. Click the link in the description below, nordvpn.com/thetake, to get 70% off a 3-year plan. If you enter the code THETAKE, you'll also get a bonus month for free. This is a limited time deal, so go to nordvpn.com/thetake to sign up today.